All right, let's dive into a wild story from the gaming world. We're talking about a game that had a ton of hype, a dedicated community, and then, basically overnight, it did a complete 180, changing its entire identity and leaving everyone scrambling.
And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. The game is Moonfrost, a cozy little farming RPG that got caught between two totally different worlds. And, well, it was forced to make a choice that changed everything for its players.
So where did this all kick off? Well, it started with an announcement that came pretty much out of the blue. It completely flipped the script on the game's entire direction, taking it from a big Web3 project to a more, let's say, traditional PC game. And get this, the timing was, well, it was something else. Players had just finished up a big event, earning all these Web3 rewards. And then, bam, just 2 days later, the team announces they're ditching Web3 for the main game entirely. I mean, talk about whiplash.
In their official statement, the team really didn't beat around the bush. They basically said, look, we've hit a wall. They realized they were trying to please two completely different crowds with just one game, and it just wasn't working. It wasn't sustainable.
So, what was this big conflict they were talking about? It all comes down to what the two different groups of players actually want from a game. Their expectations couldn't be more different. The devs laid it out pretty clearly. You've got your traditional Web2 gamers on one side. They just want a great game. Good story, fun gameplay, you know the drill. Then, on the other side, you have the Web3 players. For many of them, the focus is on the financial side of things, and they expect super fast updates that can boost the value of their digital stuff.
And this is really the core of it. Building a beautiful, complex RPG like Moonfrost takes a lot of time and care. It's a slow burn. But that slow, careful process just completely clashes with the Web3 world's need for speed and quick financial wins. It's like oil and water, you know? They just couldn't mix in the same game.
So what do? Well, their answer was pretty radical. Instead of choosing one side over the other, they decided to split the whole thing right down the middle. This led to a brand new two-part strategy.
And this is where it gets really fascinating. Just look at how cleanly they divided everything up. The original Moonfrost is now becoming a classic premium PC game on Steam. The art director's in charge of that. At the same time, they're launching a whole new thing called Frost Arcade, which will be the pure Web3 home with simpler, faster games, led by the CEO. Two separate products for two very different groups of people.
Of course, the first thing Web3 players asked was, hey, what about all the stuff I bought and earned? The team had an answer for that. They promised that all the existing digital assets, the NFTs, the special currencies, all of it would have a new home and real use over in the new Frost Arcade.
And Frost Arcade is also going to be built on a totally different economic idea. The CEO is a big fan of something called risk to earn. So instead of just printing endless new tokens that lose value, this is more like a poker tournament. Players pay to get in and then compete for a prize pool. It's a much more self-contained system.
Now, a clean split might sound great in a boardroom, but for the community, it was a bombshell. So how did the actual players, the people who had put in their time and money, actually take the news?
The reaction was, well, it was fast, and it was not happy. A lot of players felt totally betrayed, especially since that big Web3 event had just happened. This comment here really sums up how a lot of people felt, like they'd been used right before the big switch.
And then you just had the straight-up financial questions. When LL refund? LL stands for Liquid Luck, which was a premium currency in the game. It shows you that for a lot of people, the immediate worry was, what about the money I just spent on this thing?
But look, while the backlash was fierce, this whole decision didn't just happen in a bubble. To really get why they did it, we've got to zoom out a little and look at what's been happening in Web3 gaming all year.
And here's the thing, Moonfrost is not alone, not by a long shot. Throughout 2025, we've seen a bunch of other big blockchain games either shut down completely or pivot away from Web3 stuff. It's been a really tough market out there.
The team themselves were pretty open about these pressures. They basically admitted, look, this game is super expensive and it takes forever to build. We just couldn't move fast enough to keep our players happy under the old plan. For them, this was a move for survival.
And that leaves us with this final, massive question. Is what Moonfrost is doing, splitting their game in two for two different audiences, a brilliant new playbook for the future? Or is it really a retreat, an admission that maybe the big dream of mixing complex games and blockchain economics just isn't ready for prime time? The whole industry is watching to see what happens next.